Welcome ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to take a look at the Stamina Nightblade PvE build for Dragonbones DLC. This is a dungeon and trial build. I do have a written guide on my website, you will find the link in the description. I also showcase different gear setups there, you can find the rotation for this build on my website and so on. So make sure to go check it out. As you can see, we have pretty nice stats. I will get into those more later. I usually recommend that you have 17k health or more, so make sure to have that. As you can see, we have a lot of max stam, weapon damage is nice, and we're using mechanical acuity and war machine, so we will get even more weapon crit later on. In terms of Mundus Stone, make sure to run the warrior Mundus Stone. You also could run the lover, but usually in a group you have enough penetration debuffs already, so the warrior Mundus Stone will be more beneficial for you. In terms of buff food, make sure to run max health and max stam buff food. In potions, I use the weapon power pots because they give me weapon damage buff, weapon crit buff, and they restore a lot of stamina. In terms of race, I recommend being a red guard. You will have the best sustain and the most damage. Now, as you can see, this passive, it gives you like 800 stamina every 5 seconds. This doesn't sound like a lot, but if you add that up over a fight that goes for like 5 minutes, that's a lot of extra stamina that other races don't have. On top of that, you also gain 10% max stamina, which actually out damages the 8% extra crit from Khajiit by like 0.02%. So in the end, Red Guard, Khajiit, Orcs or Imperials, all of those races work very great with stamina setup. In my opinion, I always recommend Red Guard because of this passive. It's just really nice in terms of sustain. Please make sure to don't forget to subscribe. I will release more videos in the future. Now, in terms of gear setup, there is quite a few possibilities that you actually have. I do have way more sets showcased on my website. I simply will just showcase one here, otherwise it will get too complicated. Now, one of the most standard setups for Stamina Nightblades at the moment, I think in our raid group we have like 3 Stamina Nightblades, and they all run a war machine in combination with mechanical acuity. Now, why are those two sets so good for a Stamina Nightblade? Let's start with this one here. As you can see, the 5-piece bonus, you basically have a 15% chance to gain mechanical vision for 5 seconds, and then all your hits will be crits for the next 5 seconds. This has an 18 seconds cooldown. We are only front barring this set, as you can see. On the back bar, the full set is not active, which doesn't matter. You will get about a 26 to 28% uptime, so that's basically close to the maximum you can get anyway, even though you only front bar the set. So make sure to front bar this. That's why this set is so strong, because we can run it only on the front bar and it's still very effective. On top of that, in combination with War Machine, as you can see, we basically, when we use the ultimate ability, we gain Major Slayer for 10 seconds, which increases our damage by 15%, and 2 friendly group members will also benefit from this buff. Just to quickly showcase you, we have In-Cap Strike, very strong ultimate, and it's so cheap, 70 ulti points. It basically costs nothing. Now, this is also very good because you can see, and increasing your damage against them by 20% for 6 seconds. So usually what happens on the back bar here, we don't have mechanical acuity ready, or like it doesn't proc because we only front bar it, right? We have all our dots here on the back bar. So what happens is we place all our dots on the ground, then we use In-Cap Strike. Let me actually go to a target dummy just to kinda showcase you this. We place all our dots on the ground, just on the target dummy. We use in-cap strike and weapon swap. And you can see mechanical acuity procced immediately. Now we have the damage buff from in-cap strike active, 20% extra damage, another 15% from War Machine, and on top of that, for the next 5 seconds, all our abilities will crit. That's why this set combination is so freaking strong on Nightblades. Same thing goes for a magical Nightblade. You run Master Architect with mechanical acuity, also works very great. But stem Nightblades, it's just the damage you can push out with this is so crazy. That's why really make sure to go for that. Okay, that's those two sets. All weapon damage, glyphs on the jewelry. Make sure to run 6 medium, 1 heavy. You could technically run like 5 medium, 1 heavy, 1 light to get more resources because of the Undaunted passive, Undaunted metal. You basically get more resources if you have different types of armor slotted. So if you have if you have light, medium and heavy armor, you get 6%. We currently only have medium and heavy, so we get 4%. But the thing is, medium armor passives, let me actually check here, increases your weapon critical rating by 328 for each piece of medium armor equipped. So it's nice. With 6 medium we actually get quite a lot of crit and we still gain 4% extra resources. That's usually why I run this combination. But like I said, you also can run 5-1-1 or even 7 medium if you want to. Whatever you prefer. All divine. The last set is Valid Ref. You basically can play around with monster sets a little bit, but Valid Ref will deal the most damage. It also gets boosted by, for example, War Machine, like 15% more damage. And also when you use in-cap strike, the 20% from there, the Valid Ref, if it procs, deals a ton of damage. In terms of weapons, if you run mechanical acuity, I recommend running 1 axe with a Nirnholm poison enchant and 1 dagger infused with a weapon damage enchantment. Now, the infused trait here will actually also buff the poison, not the damage, but the poison glyph, so it procs faster. You will get the same damage, but it will proc faster than usual, so that's why you want to have Nirnhound on the main and infused on the off. Nirnhound will also give you more weapon damage on the main hand, so that's why you really need to have it here on the main hand, not on the off hand. That's it about the sets. If you don't run mechanical acuity, then run 2 daggers, very important. The last, let me actually see, give me a sec. I should have poisons on the back bar, I don't know where they went. There we go. Voila. The back bar, Maelstrom bow, I really recommend getting one. It's just the Endless Hail gets boosted so much by Maelstrom bow, like it will be your strongest single target and AoE dot. Now if you don't have Maelstrom bow, the second best choice would be a Master bow, but really go get the Maelstrom bow. I do have Maelstrom guides on my website in case you have trouble there, and you also can find a lot of gameplay. Now the poisons, they're very important. You will get about 2 to 2.5k damage, like DPS, from those poisons, so make sure to run them. In terms of champion points, pretty standard setup, 56, 22, 61, 40, and 61 here. We do have more points in Master at Arms on a Nightblade compared to other classes because we have more direct damage ability, so this is more important. Then 40, 40. Actually here it's 75, 49, this here, 36. I do have a sheet with jump points on my website, so in case you're unsure what that means, go check it out. 49, 49, 48, and 13 and 81. Ironclad is very important because most of the damage you receive in dungeons and trials is actually direct damage. This will help you a lot. Keep in mind, you can play around with this. As you can see, I have in precise strikes also quite a lot of points. That's because I run mechanical acuity. If I wouldn't run acuity, I would probably put a few more points in thaumaturge. So you can play around here, however you want. In terms of passives, let's just quickly go through what you need. You basically need all the class passives. Then dual wield, all, bow all. You want medium armor, heavy armor, juggernaut, because we run a heavy chest. We get 2% extra health, so that's nice. Then here you don't necessarily need anything. Fighter's Guild and Undaunted. Racial passives are very important. And what a lot of people forget is medicinal use. This is very important. With this passive, you can keep up your potions 100%. You can get 100% uptime, so that's why you need to level alchemy. It's really easy to level alchemy. Now, to mention a few nice passives of Nightblades, let me just quickly go through them. Now here, increases your weapon crit rating for each assassination ability slotted, and we have currently 876 on the front bar. As you can see, we run Relentless Focus and Killer's Blade here. That's why we get this extra. Then we have Hemorrhage, increases your critical damage done. That's why mechanical acuity is also performing so good, because the extra weapon crit also gets buffed by hemorrhage, because our crits will do more damage. So it's just really nice. And you also get some other passive buff with it, so it's just very, very good. Now those here, it's nice to have, I guess, Shadow Barrier. It will give you more resistances, so you will take less damage. Then increases max health. Now we have surprise attack, that's why we get the 3%. I mean, it's nice to have, but we usually have enough health, so just make sure to have over 17, like at least 70k health. And Catalyst is a very nice passive. We have Incapacitating Strike, only costs 70 ultimate. And this helps getting it up even faster. Now what you need to learn if you're new to a STEM Nightblade, that you use your ultimate first and then drink the potion. Because you will basically, once you used up your ultimate, you drink and you immediately have 20 ulti points again. So it's really nice. And those here, whatever. Let's get to the skills. Killer's Blade, this is your execute, and you see it only costs 1.4k stamina, so it's very cheap. We actually can almost run a full light attack rotation. Synergies got improved in Dragonbone's DLC. We also have Leeching Strikes that help sustain, so just in general, if you have pretty good buffs in your group, then you can sustain fairly well. Now this here deals insane damage. I actually have seen it crit for almost 100k in complete raid buffs. So it's just so strong. Especially if you have Incap up, if you have the War Machine buff up, and Mechanical Acuity procs. If Acuity procs in Execute, make sure to use Killer's Blade till it's off. Because if you can get a lot of crits on Killer's Blade, you will get so much DPS. Deadly Cloak deals decent damage, and it helps a lot with damage mitigation. 25% damage mitigation from AoE effects. So this kinda ensures that you are not dying most of the times, actually. So make sure to keep that up. The duration is 15 seconds. Surprise attack, this is your main spammable. 2k stamina, still fairly cheap, and it just deals a lot of damage. Now as you can see, it's also direct damage. This is direct damage, this, and the relentless, like the bow also. That's why it's helpful to have more points in Master at Arms. Like you will see on the rotation on my website, make sure to light attack between all abilities. It will boost your damage by a lot. Rending Slashes, very cheap ability. A nice damage over time effect, must have. Then we have Relentless Focus. Now as you can see, while active, hitting an enemy with 5 light attacks changes this ability into Assassin's Scourge, allowing you to fire a single shot from a spectral bow at any enemy to deal 20k damage. Now I have seen this also crit for, I think, over 100k or almost 100k, something like that. So it's also very strong. And now this actually got a small buff, this patch. It was usually quite tricky to get free bow procs off in 20 seconds. Now if you miss one, you can reactivate the ability, do 1 light attack, and your bow proc will be ready. So it kinda ensures that you get more damage in the end, because you will get more bow procs. Flawless Dawnbreaker. Use this ultimate on trash fights, on AoE fights. It deals a lot of damage. On top of that, you also get 5% weapon damage from the skill itself. And another 3% weapon damage from this passive. So this here gives us 8% more weapon damage, really nice. Backbar, Endless Hail, your strongest AoE dot and single target dot, because of the Maelstrom bow, must be kept up all the times. With the rotation on my website, you should be able to keep up all dots. Rearming Trap, quite expensive, but it's necessary because first off, it deals nice damage and it gives us minor force, increasing our critical damage done by 10%. Poison Injection, strong damage over time effect, also needs to be on the enemy all the time. Razor Caltrops, another strong damage over time effect, also very expensive. And we have Leeching Strikes. Let me actually talk about those. Most stamina bars on the back bar look like this, because usually those abilities here are kinda situational when I want to use them, and I usually track Endless Hail. So when I know Endless Hail is about to run out, I place Endless Hail, Trap, Poison Injection, Caltrops, I weapon swap, use Rending Slashes, and then I weave Surprise Attack with Light Attack and Bow procs. Kill again, bow ran out, like the Endless Hail run out, you reapply all your dots on the back bar, you go to the front bar. Leeching Strikes. This will also give you quite a lot of resources. First off, on each light attack you gain stamina, and then the final, like when the ability is about to run out, you gain 4.3k stamina. So that's also another reason why Nightblades actually have easier sustain than other setups. In-cap strike, I already talked about this a little bit. 20% damage boost, very cheap. It holds for 6 seconds, so you really need to learn to keep this, like that you almost use it on cooldown, especially when you have a potion almost ready. Make sure you use the ultimate first and then the potion and all that stuff. Very important. That's more or less it about the skills. If you want, you can play around with this setup, but I actually really recommend leaving it like this. It's the most optimal setup and also works with the rotation on my website. I think I explained everything about the STEM Nightblade for this patch. If you do have any questions, ask me in the comment section below. Make sure to not forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.